How fast does this go?
They can go pretty fast.
Wait, it does? But can it go really fast?
They can.
Oh.
I thought I would do a quick video status of this thing right now. It's been a while since I've done one. I took the whole front end off, cut the chassis, and swapped in the front half from a Ford Ranger, 1998 Ford Ranger two-wheel drive. That gave independent front suspension. Then I put in a 460 from a 1978 F350. It's got a C6 behind it. Been working on replacing the front floors. Got those tacked in. The top, I did a wedge chop on it, so it's not much lower, other than it took an inch out of the front, so it kind of, tipped the roof down that way, straightened it out a little bit. These trucks originally, if you look, the roofs kind of go up. It can look a little bit funny. The back half, frames Z'd, plated and everything. The drive shaft is bigger. It's a 3.5 inch drive shaft with 1350 U-joints on both ends. I narrowed the 9-inch rear axle. I've been working on the brakes. I got one of those right angle brake pedal assemblies, so that puts the brake master cylinder and booster up under the dashboard instead of coming through the firewall. I think I'm going to like that pretty well. I wanted to keep the firewall pretty clean. I've shortened the steering column a whole bunch. Still working on the mount to the firewall there, but it comes down, so it's still not floppy, but it comes down, it hooks into the Ranger rack and pinion, so that'll give me rack and pinion steering. I'm pretty excited about that. I really didn't like the straight axle and the way it was driving. Still got to build a custom bracket for the power steering pump. The original one, this was off a motorhome. The bracket was huge and this pump was way out here. So I'm going to fix that, and build a custom. Well, what I gotta do actually is move the lower radiator hose over to this side. So I had the inline 6, the Ford 300 in here, and its water pump exits on the opposite side of most of the Ford engines. So I bought this radiator, which was like a Chevy conversion radiator for a 55, and it's got that attachment over there, so I've got to move it over here. Well, I don't have to. I could make a big S hose, but I'd rather not. So I want to move that over here. So it's going to be some cutting and welding and that kind of stuff. Anyway, got to do that. I relocated the oil filter because it's really tight with the steering there. I had it right here, but in my experiments with the lower radiator hose, it's going to run right in the way. So I took that off, and I have to make a different bracket for that. Got hoses hooked up for the transmission. They're not tidied up or anything. They're just hanging there. Oil cooler is there, just pending some ductwork. I don't have any cooling fan or anything yet. There's no shift linkage hooked up. The cross member here is pretty well done, welded and everything, not painted or anything. But the front mounts are just tack welded in. You know, there's a pretty good tack weld there, and there's, you know, one up under there. There's another one up on top. Same with this side. The whole front end is just held in with some tack welds. For now, it's all measured up and straight and everything, but there's lots of welding that needs to get finished up. We've put in another cross member, started welding it in. It's not fully welded, but it's got some pretty good welding done on it. Put a driveline hoop on that, shorten the driveline. Yet again, since this is the third engine swap. Oh yeah, I worked on the floor pans. Again, I got a bunch of tack welds holding them in. They're not fully welded. I had to cut out the stock cross member because it went right through where the drive shaft went. Still got to cut the rivets out. Here's where I Z'd the frame. You can see where I screwed up my measurements and had to do lots of extra welding, but then, you know, I plated it on the other side. I rosette welded through it. It's basically got a giant gusset where the 4-link bar goes, and it's a 1-ton frame doing less than half-ton duty, so it's really strong. But still, that was a lot of work. And then the rear axle that I shortened up and realigned and stripped down, put airbag mounts on, put 4-link brackets on, painted, yada yada yada. So that's where it's at today. There's plenty of work that needs to be done still.